Hi everyone, Sue Matsuki here with another Sue's Muse. Today my muse is a dear friend. His name is Ron Drotos. Thank you for joining me, Ron. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Sue.
So Ron and I met many years ago at the Fairbanks Summer Arts Festival. Ron was coming in right after Helen Baldessari and other people were teaching the cabaret class, and you took that on. And you're still doing this, aren't you? You're still teaching there?
I am, and it's ironic because I was very much the new kid on the block back in 1999, and
I
and
told you
20
we've known
some
each other a
yep,
while.
yep, 20 some odd years later, I'm now in the Festival Hall of Fame, and I believe I'm the longest running faculty member. 25 summers or something, and 4 winters.
That's amazing. Tell me how it's changed and morphed. I mean, when we started, it was under Joe Scott's. God bless her. She's just written a book, Almost 100. This woman is a powerhouse and a champion of art and talent. But it started under Joe. How has the program changed? I remember back in the day, we had all these jazz and musicians coming in from all out of town, and they covered yoga and they covered cooking. And I mean, it was amazing. What is it like now versus then?
Well, it's still wonderful, but I think they've had to change a lot because times change. The internet's been invented since 1999, or at least become popular. So what was very much the at that time the only thing like this in town. When if you lived in Fairbanks, if you've never been, people watching, is a wonderfully vibrant community in the interior of Alaska. So if Alaska's here, it's almost smack in the middle. And at that time, they had very little contact with the outside world. So when this festival came in, they brought all these people from the L.A. recording studios, Berklee College of Music in Boston, New York, like we did, and that's changed because now they have access to everything, and there's been a pandemic and everything. So they've actually gone much more local and brought in a lot of the local talent to
Mhm.
teach.
And
Who
there's a lot of local talent there.
there is. It's
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The festival still has wonderful classes, but it's not quite as what's the word? It's not as international, but it's actually got a lot more charm in a different way because it's more
Mhm.
local. I'm one of the few people they bring in from the outside anymore. And it's really nice to be appreciated so much. We've really built something, and it's sort of in a rebuilding phase right now, and or it's reclaiming a lot of the energy it used to have, which it lost during the pandemic. But they
I have
kept
to
it
say that
going.
your being from New York is important because some of my friends who I made, I did it for 5 seasons, and some of the people that I met there, I remember them saying, yeah, but you're doing it in New York. Like just the
Mhm.
fact that you're an educator from New York must mean everything to some of those locals because it just means a whole different thing. In my case, I met Gene Bertoncini and Bob Kindred there. I would never have met them here in New York, but I met them there. So
Yeah.
I'm sure as an educator, what is the most joyous thing when you see someone? I mean, what does it feel like as an educator when you see someone take that next step? And is that your main goal as a teacher?
Well, I teach cabaret performance, which we call it sing your song now, because I
Okay.
realize outside of New York, a lot of times people think cabaret is
The
sort
Dirty
of,
Men's Club, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So we say sing your song, so we can include everybody, anybody from country singers to some pop based, as long as we have that lyrical connection from cabaret. We do jazz. And then some traditional Broadway and cabaret singing too. And to me, it's about feeling comfortable presenting something on stage. And if we can get up and we can sing in front of people, and emphasizing the positive aspect of it. So, for instance, if you're not really connected with the meaning of your song or having a clear intention, as you know, you get up there and it's all the negatives, like, oh, I hope I don't trip on my way up. I hope my voice doesn't crack. I hope I look good. And that's terrifying, right? So if we can focus on, in our song, who are we singing to? What am I trying to say through the song? Whether it's a scenario or finding an active verb or something. I'm trying to really convince somebody of something or whatever it is. The other stuff just falls into place. And I notice if that intention is really strong, intonation gets better, phrasing gets better, our stage presence gets better. And then if it doesn't in whatever way, we can then work on that. But we don't start with that. We start with the intention. And to have somebody, whether they're professional, semi-pro, university student, or avocational singer who just wants to get up there and sing, to have them get up there and give their all and get applause and just do something they've never done before and feel great about it is so empowering. And then it can translate into everything they do. I've had people in New York who I coached who never sang before, and they didn't have any friends, and they weren't happy at work. And then they started doing shows, and their boss came to the show and started creating a better work situation for them. Yeah. And one case, giving them a huge holiday bonus. And I said, your boss is subsidizing your show.
There you go.
And then all of a sudden, meeting people in the cabaret community and transforming their life with all these wonderful friends. So that happens in Fairbanks as well as New York.
So separate from cabaret, your background is predominantly jazz, and you have a long relationship with our dearly beloved Barry Levitt. Tell me a little bit about what it was like working with Barry Levitt all those years.
Well, wonderful. But also, I have a degree in classical music composition. So it's actually classical, jazz, and Broadway, all three, which is what I could bring to the table when I met Barry doing the musical Swinging on a Star, which made it to Broadway in 1995, got a wonderful Tony nomination for Best Musical. And I had just moved to New York 4 years before then in '89, and I got a call from Barry Levitt, whose name I knew, and asking me to help him create this Broadway show. And I was his associate music director. I did some orchestrations. I got my name on the poster, which was just a thrill. You see a bus go by and my name was on the side of the bus, in the advertisement. Barry was such a joy to work with, and he really believed in me. Mm-hmm. And what I learned from him was a way to take a standard tune, because Swing on a Star was based on the lyrics of Johnny Burke. Johnny Burke's widow gave him posthumously the hit Broadway show he never had. He had written a show called Donnybrook, which didn't do too well, and she wanted to give him a successful Broadway show years later. So standards like Pennies from Heaven, Misty, Polka Dots and Moonbeam, Swing on a Star, which was his, I believe, 1944 Academy Award winning song, were in it, and tons of others. What's New, things like that. And what I got from Barry, besides just learning how to relate to vocalists, and we did a lot of other things like the Lyrics and Lyricists series at the 92nd Street Y, and I'd lead the Supper Club big band for dancing when he couldn't do it. We did a lot together. Seeing him navigate situations, professional, personal, and musical situations, with whether it's a 14-piece big band, or he'd hire me to put together classical choirs to sing at wedding ceremonies that he was hiring the music, and we did so much together. Swinging on a Star, to sit on stage at a grand piano, because the band was on stage, and conduct a Broadway show on the nights when he wasn't there at age, what was I? I was 31 years old.
Wow.
And some of my own orchestrations and dance arrangement. I got a dance arrangement in there. Just astonishing.
It's interesting. Barry kind of gave you a bucket list thing, and you are now giving those people that you teach their bucket list thing. So it's like a full circle thing. I want to talk to you a little bit before we close down about the rumor that I know to be true is that you're going to be putting a class together possibly this summer, fall. Tell me a little bit about what the class concept's going to be and what you're thinking.
Yes, well, it's for cabaret singers. And I realized that I wanted to do a class because I've been teaching this class in Fairbanks for so long. I've been vocal coaching people and working on their cabaret shows since with the mid 90s now. And I was thinking, what do I have to offer that's fairly unique, and also what isn't really being done too much? And we have a lot of classes and people teaching sort of the straight cabaret side of things. And also you have jazz singing classes in the jazz world. But where do they meet? In that Venn diagram, where's that circle that the jazz and the cabaret overlap? where you can explore each in its pure form, but also together without losing the essence of either one.
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm thinking of calling this class either exploring the jazz side of cabaret or something like that.
Mhm.
How do you bring a very authentic jazz sound, for instance, into a show where we're trying to keep the connection with lyrics in a personal way without losing that? How do you scat sing if you scat sing, or how do you scat sing, right? Developing that ability if you want to do that, or even improvising on the lyrics or improvising on the melody a certain way, or oohing and ahhing during the introduction of a song in a jazzy way. How do you do that without losing everything that you've already worked towards and you want to do in a cabaret situation? Or how do you put a straight ahead jazz song that you may have heard Nancy Wilson or somebody sing right after you've done something by Kander and Ebb?
Yeah.
Which may be a little jazzy, but certainly very Broadway, or even something that's not at all jazzy. How do you do an Irving Berlin song that has jazz chords in it and maybe a jazz rhythmic ballad feel, and sing it maybe even in a little more cabaret way without these worlds clashing?
Mhm.
So I think
That sounds
there's
exciting. And it does sound a little bit different from a couple of the other things that are happening here. Listen, those of you out there watching this interview, as soon as Ron firms everything up, I will have links to how to investigate or join this class or whatever. So right below this actual video that you watch, there'll be links to his website. There'll be links wherever. Okay, so just watch for that in a week or so after this video's been posted. Ron, I can't thank you enough for spending a few minutes with us. I really appreciate it. It's a long time in coming, and there's so much more in our city to explore in terms of music and everything. You are currently hosting the Jazz Brunches up on Jazz on Main. I've had the honor of
Yep.
singing there, as well as a couple of y'all who are watching this out there. How's that going? That's been very exciting too.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a small jazz club, a small but gem of a jazz club in Mount Kisco, New York, about 40 minutes north of the George Washington Bridge in Westchester.
And there's
And
a train right from Grand Central, like
yes,
right
that's
there, it's
right.
a block away. Yeah.
Yes, and I had performed there last year with a few different vocalists, and I got to know the owner and saw that he really wants to build up the community, both the immediate community and people from New York, and to just get more people in there. And so he asked me if I would do these brunches. So about twice a month, every other week or so, I'm up there, and we've had you, and I'll have you again, Sue. So we're
Yeah, we're
doing
gonna
another
do a tribute
Fitzgerald.
to Ella on, what is it, Sunday,
April 6th, I
April
believe.
6th. April
Yep,
6th from 12 to 2. Both of us are gonna tribute our girl, Ella Fitzgerald. So join us for that.
exactly. And
Also, you do it once monthly now, or?
about twice a month, and I
Oh,
bring up
cool.
different vocalists. Sometimes I do it with my own trio, piano, bass, and drums, and that's wonderful. I've been posting videos on YouTube twice a week, mostly from there, and really building up a nice audience, a
Yeah,
family
you've
style
become quite the
community.
coup for us singers. Like a lot of us have really been honored to be asked to do this with you. And now you have a nice stable, if you'll forgive the expression, a nice stable of singers for you to draw
You
from.
said it, not me. You said
I can. If you said it, it wouldn't be nice. All right, everyone. Until next time, thank you so much. Ron
Thank you,
Drotos,
Sue.
everyone. I'm so glad that you got to know him like I know him as the gentleman that he is. Look forward to his class. I'll have links below, and we'll see you next time on Sue's Muse. We are Nightlife Exchange. Have a good day.